Good afternoon, this is Bob Iaccino coming to you from the CME Group trading floor in Chicago. Talking energy, let's talk about crude oil. Crude oil recovers late. It was down early on low volume. Earlier in the session, it took some downside out, but then recovered late in the day, and the volume increased as well. Crude oil ended up finishing up about 0.5%, right around 71.30. Brent rallied as well, but the WTI contract is what I'm referring to at that 71.30 price. So we got a little bit of recovery, and it was interesting to note again that the volume was there to the upside, but it was really, really light early in the morning on the downside. We now have crude oil up 9 of 10 days. A report out of China showed that Chinese demand from the refineries for crude oil skyrocketed. It soared 16% month over month. That could throw a little bit of a wrench into the trade talks, which begun today between a delegation from China and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin as to whether China was going to continue to get that crude oil from Iran once the sanctions are in place. They actually reduced the amount they were buying from Iran from November to December. Could increase as the sanctions go in place. We're not sure. It might be one of the bargaining points that China uses in the conversation, but that demand is critical to think about when you're looking at the overall supplies of crude oil. There is an expected draw tomorrow in the Department of Energy numbers. We're going to get the API numbers in just a little bit. According to an OPEC report, the oil glut is now gone. 340 million barrels a day of excess crude production, according to OPEC, has now been reduced to 9 million barrels a day. So the glut has been dealt with, according to OPEC's latest report. It's interesting because shale production is actually chugging along at a new record, up 144,000 barrels a day so far, and continuing to produce more per well, most of that coming out of the Permian Basin. But as of right now, again, according to the OPEC report, we have reduced the oil overproduction, the oil oversupply by 331 barrels a day. I would call that a success. I'm pretty sure OPEC would as well. And that doesn't even count what's been taken out of the supply in the last couple of months from Venezuela, as well as the potential 2 million barrels a day to be pulled off with the Iranian sanctions. So might have had a lot to do with the rally we got late in the day, and that rally brought volume with it. Crude oil ends up about 0.5% today. This is Bob Iaccino talking crude oil from the CME Group trading floor in Chicago.